welcome everyone. I'm going to go back just so you can kind of see the first slide, just so you know where you're in the right spot or not. But I don't know anyone else, where else you'd be on a Friday at 4 o'clock. So this is the info session for Project Impact out of the College of Education at Cal State University San Bernardino. I want to thank you guys for coming. This is an info session. I'm going to kind of do like a little overview. Let me go right to this next one, kind of overview of the Project Impact program. Then I really want to hear from you, like, what are you wondering? What kind of questions do you have? And then we can kind of talk about next steps. Our goal is to kind of meet you where you are as a potential participant, and then some people may be trying to gather information to share with others. So we'll be able to try to answer as many questions as possible. But the goal is to give you everything you need to make sure that you're able to take that next step and be a part of this change we're trying to make happen in education. I will be brief. I'll kind of talk fast. If I get going too fast, feel free to ask questions. Someone will hear you in the chat or see you in the chat, or I'm presenting so I won't see anything. But basically, kind of give you a basic outline on the why. So research indicates that a positive correlation between teachers of color and increases among students of color on standardized test scores and reading, math, graduation rates, and interest in attending college. And this is in the K-12 setting. So this program is really to invest in men of color to come into education. I'll get to that in a second, but we really want to understand this investment in you so you can invest in K-12 students so we can really make a difference in how we're doing things. Also, studies indicate that teachers of color connect in ways that increase the academic performance of students of color overall. And it's not just students of color, it's actually all students. And then Black students who have Black teachers between the third grade and fifth grade are less likely to drop out of school and more likely to attend college. So these are some of the data points. It's not all of the data points, but it's just kind of like a foundational overview of the reason that this work is so important and the reason that this work is needed. The program options that we're talking about. So Project Impact is an effort to support and recruit men of color into education. And these are the programs that we're trying to get you, help make sure that you're able to make it through. So recruitment efforts will continue to develop by establishing a pipeline approach with multiple entry points. So originally, I think our first cohort was for single subject. Currently, we're expanding for those who are interested in getting a single subject credential, multi-subject credential, or special education credential. And that is for people who have their bachelor's or already, and they're looking to get this credential to enhance it and be able to go into education. We are also working to create a pathway for returning students who may be at the junior level, or transfer students who are able to transfer into a program we have called, it's a liberal studies program called Integrated Track. And that allows you to pursue your bachelor's and your credential at the same time. And at some point, as we build and perfect these models or continue to evolve and revise these models, we'll get to the point of being able to recruit directly from incoming freshmen into a program that will really focus on development. Okay, so Project Impact is an initiative to increase the diversity of teachers in the region by intentionally recruiting men of color with a specific focus on African American and Latino males. Project Impact will develop highly skilled, collaborative, inclusive teachers committed to operating from a restorative perspective, seeking to promote equitable educational outcomes for all students. That is a mouthful, but it is so important to understand. We really have to be intentional about how we're educating our students and how we're preparing teachers to be in front of our students. So you can't just say, oh, I'm a man of color, and then jump in front of everybody and not have the skills. So we really focus on Project Impact works in conjunction with an already really well-established teacher education program at Cal State San Bernardino. And what we do is we fill in those gaps. And what we do is we move a little bit more flexibly about making sure that you have experiences and opportunities that put you in a better position to support, but also so that when you get into the field, you have mastered these skills and you are actually a change agent from the time that you get on the campus. Key considerations. So this is important work, and this is a wordy slide, and I tried all kinds of ways to not say it this way, but it's got to be said because we want you here because you want to be here for the right reasons, and we really want the right people focusing on going into education and supporting students. And our goal is to just really make you really good at it, where you stand out amongst everyone else. So Project Impact works in conjunction with your teacher education program. Our desire is to provide every opportunity for skill attainment, personal mastery, and intentional networking in service of your personal growth and development. Like, we need you to be really, really good so that you can make the impact on the students. To realize this, a high level of personal commitment is required on your part. So if this is what you want to do, we want to make sure you're really good at it and that you think it through and that we put you in a position to succeed. Ultimately, our collective efforts, that's Project Impact, Cal State San Bernardino's teacher education program, and you and whatever your circle of influence is, everybody is working in conjunction to galvanize a shared vision to change educational outcomes for all students, K-12 students in this area. We want you to be the change. The focus of this program is to diversify teacher pipeline in San Bernardino and Riverside County. So intentional investment in resources in key individuals, which means you, will require a commitment to teach in these areas. So this is what we want you to understand. This is really to develop you so that we can change the way education is happening in the IE, in the high desert. So in these counties, and the goal is to make sure that you understand we want you to join this program to develop, to make an impact in this region. So we would want to make sure that you make a commitment to doing so. And then Project Impact will use a cohort model to build a community of learning that will support your engagement, persistence, and abilities necessary to complete this program, just navigating through the program, because individuals come with varying levels of motivation, experience, and expertise. But when you work together, that just makes the cohort really come together, and you learn from one another. You get that tacit knowledge that comes from, it's just a different level of support that comes from that. What you can expect from us: support and mentorship. Now, this is both personal and professional support as you navigate through the program, through the teacher education program, and then also within navigation of certain aspects of support or training, student teaching if necessary. There may be opportunities for internships, but these different situations, there will be support through that. How do you manage all of these different factors that you have to consider? And then you will have a mentor teacher into your position. So you get your credential, you get a job, you're there, not with your cohort, but you still have support to help make sure that that transition into your position is successful, that you have someone to run questions by. It's really important to understand we're here with you, and going through a program can be challenging, but you're a phone call away from getting real answers and not necessarily being left out on your own. So it's a level of advocacy that a lot of people won't get. Just know, I know I didn't get it. Anyway, so we want to continue. We're going to provide relevant, ongoing, high quality learning experiences, exposures, and personal development. So this is really where it goes beyond just learning the basic standards of what it requires to be a teacher. And how do you master your personal understanding of basically giving you skills and knowing when you should use them and how to use them, but also being able to understand your process and what you come through as far as your educational career, and how do you impact those that you'll be teaching moving forward. We will provide pre-internship experiences that support your growth and practice as a professional educator. And then we will be supplemental financial support to offset program expenses. And it is something that, based on what the situation is, based on how many people are in the programs, things like that, the level that we'll be able to support. Currently, it looks really good, but we can't say, oh, we got you covered. We don't have you covered, but we are really here in a position to try to offset your expenses and put you in a position to be one of the more highly sought after scholars toward the end. And then one thing that I did not put on here is, on the website, there's Project Impact Scholars. So as we're talking to different people, different districts, different organizations, you would be highlighted as, someone who is really taking on the need in the area head on, learning in that program. And that puts you in a position to actually market yourself to be pulled into some of the experiences or internships that may be available in certain situations. Now, just to go through some of the things I just explained, Master Your Craft. It's a series of professional development trainings designed to enhance your knowledge and skill in specific areas. This is a kind of list of some of the things that on the side, technology, kind of the face-to-face, once you go distance learning, but also once you go back face-to-face, how to focus on data-driven lessons, systems, structures, procedures, a lot of restorative justice, trauma-informed learning, social emotional learning, multi-tiered systems of support, positive behavior incentives and supports. It really just want to make sure that when you get to the campus, you know more than just what the requirements are, but how do they work with you? Knowing, have a clear understanding of all of the topics that we can get in based on your need, and then how to apply these from a social justice lens with equity in mind when you're doing the work, and then just continuing to work on how you can own these skills. How do you develop this? Not as something that you do, but as something that you are as a teacher, and how you can change lives. Really, we want to put you in a position so you can be the teacher you needed when you were 12. That's kind of the idea of it. We want to take you to the next level so that when someone says, man, what teacher impacted your life the most? Then you can just insert your name and boom, there you go. We have exposure and development. So select guests. It is challenging to find images of men of color teaching. It's something that hardly exists, but we do exist. And the benefits of us being in the classroom in front of students is powerful. Similar to a coach, you have the ability to make a connection and take a student to the next level with high expectations. So what we will be really focusing on bringing select guests who are men of color regionally and nationally that have really made an impact in education. And they all have come from where you are right now, deciding you want to be a teacher, and they've been there. So it's like kind of like a small intimate conversation about their path and words of wisdom, and then areas of, you know, possible mentorship, but really teach you and support you and inspire you in a way to know that you can make a difference. And I think it's really important to increase the visibility and images of men of color on campuses. These, they will basically, like I said, they'll kind of go through what their spiel is, what they're doing, the things that they're doing and how they're making a difference, but also really talk to you about what you can do and try to help inspire you to find your purpose within this education. And then the pre-intern experiences. Now this, in all of these things, it's not a one size fits all. So it really comes down to what you need. So if you have been a substitute teacher, you may not need certain aspects of it, but pre-intern experience allows us to put you in a situation where you can learn. So we have experience one is working within the campus at some of the systems that like Gear Up or Cal Soap that focuses on basically supporting the learning of K-12 students. That's on campus. At that particular time, you're learning about learning about the learner. What are their misconceptions? What's going on? Sometimes you'll say, oh man, kids don't actually read the instruction, they just start doing the work. That might be a takeaway. The second experience is special education, understanding what an IEP is, understanding what the disabilities are, when interventions work, things of that nature. But if you've been a paraeducator in a special education class, you may not need that experience. And then the third experience is like within the core area, whatever subject matter you want to teach, how do they bring it all together? How do they support students from an inclusive perspective that needs supports and scaffold? How do they extend the learning for those who are doing really well? How they motivate, how they bring it all together and get through a lesson in the time frame that works. So long-term support, basically, I mentioned the cohort model. There will be group and individual check-ins where we're able to support you. The idea is to make sure that you have the support from the time you get in the program until you're in the job, and eventually you'll be the type of person that can go back and support those that come after you. But whole group, individual check-ins, master your craft, networking with regional partners, and then having a mentor into the position. I will go into the networking with regional partners. We had one partner, HR director, actually did a mock interview. So we did a professional development about key elements within it, and then scheduled a mock interview where the Project Impact participants were able to meet with 6 different principals, interview one-on-one. They got feedback, debriefs, and then also they were given, when they finished the program, they're guaranteed an interview. They're not guaranteed the job, but they're guaranteed an opportunity. So some of the things that we talk about, the professional developments, will be with different school districts within the area. And then when you go to those, it puts you in a position to really network and get your name out there, learn a whole lot. But then when you go to apply, you can say, yeah, I attended this, I did that. So it's really about trying to be intentional with your experiences and kind of go from there.